All right, I just got fuel for the boat and for my truck. Got a case of water. It's gonna be pretty warm today, I think. Actually heading to the Eastern Shore. It's probably, what time is it? Let's see, it is 4 o'clock. About a half hour into this drive. Mitch was supposed to join today, but he got sick yesterday. Lane's working, he just started a new job. Solo mission today, I'm going to the Eastern Shore, and I'm going to check around some spots that I map scouted for SIKA deer, and then I'm also going to check out some areas for whitetail. There's a section of dry ground, kind of big woods area, bigger woods, and I'm just going to peek around it a little bit, see if I can figure out if it's worth my time for whitetail this fall. It is a little bit of a drive. It's probably 2.5 hours from my house, but if I'm down here SIKA deer hunting and not getting on SIKA deer in the morning or something like that, I could always go poke around for whitetail in the afternoon or vice versa. So I know the Eastern Shore holds some big deer, actually some really big deer, and excited to see what we find. So gonna eat at my breakfast burrito here and start cruising down the road, and we'll see you down there here in a few hours. All right, I'm down here in the Eastern Shore. As usual, the bugs are already starting to get a little nasty. Actually, yesterday I treated all my clothes with Sawyer's, and then I even sprayed down today with that off stuff. It has like DEET or whatever in it. So hopefully I don't get eaten alive too bad today. I boated in here about 1.5 miles. This first little chunk of dry ground, it's a little hump. Has like a couple trees on it, and I'm gonna just check it around here. Aerials, looks like there's some trails that kind of cross through the marsh and go past these trees. So I'm just gonna see if it's something that's worth setting up for. There is whitetail in this area, but it's mostly, the trails are probably mostly from the SIKA deer. So I'm gonna just give it a look. All right, I'm on this little patch of dry ground here. There's 2 or 3 good-sized pine trees. This one's dead right here. This tree's dead right here. Looks like maybe an old ash tree, but these 2 pines in the background, that one, and the smaller one here, it's only about 12 foot high. That won't really work, I don't think, but this one here maybe. Might be get my hang on that. When I walked up to this stuff, I could hear SIKA going out through here. They must have been better in this little point right here, this little dry ground, and they went out into the marsh. Aerials are showing quite a few trails just out here, probably only about 25-30 yards out, with several trails, 3 or 4 good trails kind of cross through there. So I might pop out in there and just look at those trails, verify I can shoot those trails. Just because there's trails out there, I mean, if the grass is too tall, there's no point in even sitting here because you won't even see the deer the way below the grass line. But I'm getting destroyed by these bugs that go for the camera lens. That some of those bug sprays I don't think really work so well. I mean, they might work if I'm standing still, they're not bad, but when I start walking, I get swarmed. You can see all frag grass here. It's probably about 7 foot tall in spots, maybe even a little higher. But for the most part, we're in that 4 to 6 foot height range. And here's this tree right here, one good sized pine tree right here. Still alive, surprisingly. This guy here, this tree here, is dead. Here, this one. That's a couple trees on this little hump right here. Alright, just as I feared, I came out here to this, into the marsh, and I'm standing in about 4 inches of water, and I came to this first trail here. It's only about 15 yards from the tree, but the grass is like 4 to 5 foot high, and that trail divots into the marsh maybe 6 inches. So here, let's have a look at it quick before I talk any more about it. Here it is. Went out through. And it's beat down pretty good, but the reality is, those deer are tiny. And, I mean, I don't think they even stand 3 foot tall. I know they don't. So you can sit that tree and you'll hear these deer, maybe you catch glimpses of them going past 15-20 yards from you, but you're not going to do anything with it, which just ends up frustrating you. There's no point in even getting excited about it. And it's not like you can mow the grass down here or anything like that. It's even taller frag the further I kind of go around this little hump here. So I'm going to go over here on this side of me. It's getting a little further from some of these, from the dry ground, and it's a little further from that tree, maybe 30 yards from the tree, but the grass might get lower. And if it is, maybe something we can work with. If not, we just have to move on. Came out here, and I actually found something pretty cool. Got some real heavy trails here. Let's have a look at these trails. We got a trail here. here, and you can kind of see, it's hard to tell maybe in the camera, but there's some low spots in the grass there, here, kind of dips down right there, there. And if you see right here, I got a patch of frag right here. Not very big, but there's frag in there, and you see this grass sticks up probably, you can see it here better, about 2-3 feet above this needle grass or whatever. My thoughts are that, let me get back here and get a better profile of it. See this chunk of grass right here? Highest part in there, the highest part in there is probably 7 feet, 8 foot high. I have a step ladder. My thoughts are I get a step ladder, put it in that grass patch. It's a 6-foot step ladder, and I should be able to shoot over top into some of these little holes, like right there. And this is what we talked about right over in here. Talking point blank shots, like under 20. But I mean, there's a lot of heavy trails here. Right, I'm seeing another one here that crisscrosses. Look, here's this one here. Comes around the front of this. Goes right out there toward that dry ground. But I think that's the ticket. I think I'll hunt this spot. I'm gonna bring a step ladder in, put it right maybe in this front patch here. Or there's a kind of front patch and a back patch, whichever one conceals me better. And I should be able to hide in that. I'm only going to be set up off the ground, maybe 4 or 5 feet off the ground, but it should conceal me, and I should be able to shoot these open patches along these lower patches in the grass around it. 20-yard shots. Several trails cross through here. Looking at aerials, it's kind of a wagon wheel or whatever of trails all kind of hubbing out right at this one spot here. Some do go toward that dry ground over there. Some go kind of even further to the west, where it's actually a big chunk of public that gets pressured pretty hard. There's some oaks over there and some more dry ground, and I know I've seen other guys in there several times. I think what might be happening is these deer go up in there to feed and such, but when the pressure's on and whatever, they get pushed out into the marsh. And these trails basically are just skirting within 40-50 yards of the edge of that dry ground. And they kind of hub out right here, wagon wheel hub out right here at this patch of frag. It's only you can see it, it's only about a 10-yard diameter circle of frag grass. There's some bigger patches out further there, but most of this here is kind of about the frag is like 7 foot. So there's other grass, I guess it's needle grass, I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's probably about 3 to 4 foot high. And there's sections where it dips down to maybe 1.5 foot high, and that's what I'm hoping to be able to shoot into if these deer are walking past. Gonna be neat is you're gonna be on me quick. I should hear them coming and splashing the water, but when I do see them, it's gonna be seeing, deciding if it's something I'm shooting, and then doing it. All right, I'm gonna move on here. Well, this is what a frag patch looks like if you're ever curious. I'm in it right now. It's probably 8 foot high or so, maybe a hair higher, and I mean, you see the stem count it's like crazy. And there's occasional hidden logs in here too that you can trip over and whatever. Some of them are submerged, which makes it even more difficult. But it's hard to see. There you go. That's a pine tree right there sticking up. A couple of them over there. I'm trying to get to them. Looking at aerials, sometimes it's kind of, oh sorry, I got stuff in my eyes. Looking at aerials, sometimes it's pretty easy to identify lower grass in an aerial, and I think there's grass over here that's on the lower side. So I'm pushing through this frag patch and get over here. It would be a pain in the neck to get into this spot to hunt, especially to do it quietly, but I think at this point I'm trying to get in here and see if it's even worth getting to this spot. The trails look pretty heavy, and they kind of, several of them converge back here. There's kind of like not a pond, but a real wet area, which I imagine when you see water on aerials and stuff down here, a lot of times it means it's pretty mucky and almost bottomless holes. So the deer and people avoid that kind of stuff, but or should anyway. And the trails kind of funnel around that pond on the one side, that chunk of water, and then they kind of come in from another waterway on the other side, and they all pinch down up here about 70 yards from here. So I'm going to go there, see if it's worth my time. If it is, then we'll look into getting an access for this spot. I left the boat back that way. That's my trail I came in on. You can see it's not like it's anything obvious as far as what I mowed down already. The boat's back there probably 100 yards, 150 yards. So, gonna go in here and see what we can find. There we go, that tree right there. These bugs are tearing me up today. Just like we did some scouting videos last year with SIKA. I just want to show you guys again, kind of just like a whitetail. These SIKA deer also like to walk the edges of things, you know, kind of transition lines. So we got like a frag transition to this kind of lower grass and pines here, and you can see the trail on it right here. Here's your frag, edge right here, lower grass here, and the pines. And you can see right here this trail coming through here. Also some faint trails going off into the frag. The deer do like that frag, but a lot of times they walk the edges of it. Right here is walking that transition line we looked at. Right over there is where I videoed the edge of the frag. Kind of came around it right here, and I actually bugs. I found what I'm looking for, kind of. There's a break in the frag going out into the open marsh. See coming up ahead here, real close to that water, that pond or whatever. And I think there's some trails that kind of run at the edge of it, come into this timber here. So let's go check it out. See, here's the frag, and here's the break right here. See the water out there? These little humps like this, high ground, perfect spot for these deer to bed on too. It's tough to find bedding around the tops here. Yeah, right here's a bed right here. A little bit of dry ground. Good visibility right here. And you can see that dry ground lifted me about a foot above the marsh, a foot and a half. And the trails all kind of come right to the edge of it here, right in here. I believe, anyway. Let's go check. Oh, it's a lot of water out there. It's really wet. Right here you can see the water. My original plan was to kind of come across this open marsh where I could see this lower grass from aerials, but looking at it now, I'm glad I didn't. It is a lot of water out there, and I'm sure a lot of it's really deep holes. So, I'm getting warm. I got water in my bag. I'm gonna get some water and get a drink, but you can see behind me here, there's this little bed, this hump here. Here's this break in the frag into this woods. I think this will be pretty good. That pond is only 25-30 yards from the edge of this woods here, so there's a heck of a pinch between that pond and the wood line here, and I probably can pop up one of these trees. So I'm gonna look at them real quick. All right, walking over here. I'm gonna see a tree that'll work pretty good. And here it is. This guy right here. It's pretty much telephone pole, which is par for the course here, but it is alive, which is sometimes unusual down here in the marsh. Right to that frag edge over there, it's about 25-30 yards. Out this side of the tree, nice gap here to shoot out to the edge of that. And that pond thing is right out there, so that's about 30 yards. Out in front of the tree here, we got another frag edge here, about 20 yards out. And I'm sure they walk that. And then this blowdown here kind of is nice. It kind of funnels deer, so they should either come from between that blowdown and the tree here in this 15-yard strip, or come through the gaps over there, or over here. So, feel pretty good about it. I'm gonna pin this tree on my phone and kind of move on here. I like how this looks. I'm still not 100% sure I'm gonna get into this place because it's really nasty, but I think like one of those spots where I get here just early as heck, like super early. Just bushwhack in, accept the fact that I'm gonna be loud, but just hope things settle down till daylight. So, yeah, I like that tree. It's gonna be nice in this little dry patch in the middle of this freaking marsh. Nasty stuff. Bugs are terrible today. It's hot. And, you know, it's just kind of one of those things. You gotta do it, though. I would have never found this spot in the dark. So, for what it's worth, I'm glad we scouted here today.